David Neeleman shook up the airline industry here in the United States when he founded JetBlue. Now he's trying to do the same thing in Brazil. His Azul airline celebrated its first anniversary last week, and David Neeleman is here with me right now. David, thank you for joining us. Let's talk about what Azul is doing down in Brazil. You're offering one-way flights for as little as $60 and no more than $180. You're paying people 10 times the average minimum wage in Brazil. Now, maybe the airline industry is a little bit better compensated than others, but that sounds like a lot in relative terms. What is it about what you're doing with Azul that sort of represents the future of the airline business?
Well, Brazil's a country that's got a great future and it's growing. And but one of the things that I noticed when I went down there, it really lacked air travel for the size of the country, the per capita income. You know, there were only 50 million people traveling by air. And, you know, as we did the analysis, it looked more like it should be 150 million or 200 million people. So only 300 airplanes flying around, domestic airplanes in Brazil, compared to 4,000 in the United States. So a lot of people going by bus, long distance bus. You know, 250 million people go by bus, 50 million by air. So it kind of seemed like U.S. in the 50s from an air traffic point of view. And so, you know, if we thought we could just double the traffic, you know, maybe triple the traffic over the next 5 years, you'd need another 300 airplanes in the country. And so we want to be a big chunk of that.
Why couldn't your local competitors spot this opportunity?
Well, I think they were a duopoly, and duopolies tend to not, they tend to be cozy. And, you know, in Brazil we talk about the A class, the B class, the C class, the D class, the E class. And really it's the C class, the kind of the lower and middle class that's really growing. And that's a class that hasn't really been catered to by a lot of different businesses. They focus more on the A and B class. And so I think they were focused more on the A and B. They weren't really focused on the C. There's 100 million people in the C class and growing.
David, you're on the cusp of profitability. You expect to be profitable next year. How can you be when everybody else is having such a hard time making money? I actually did a check, and only 25 of 128 publicly traded airlines that we track here at Bloomberg have been profitable over the past 12 months, and the IATA is projecting $5.6 billion of losses for the industry as a whole next year.
Well, Brazil's a little bit different. I mean, you've got two airlines down there that are public, New York Stock Exchange companies, GOL and TAM. You know, one has, I think it's a $3 billion market cap. The other one has a $4 billion market cap. I think that's probably the second and third highest in the United States if they were here. You know, it's a market that's underserved. There's a big opportunity there. One of the things I found in Brazil by being down there is that things cost more down there. And the reason they cost more is because there's just less competition. And so as more competition comes in, as you cater more to the C class, as more people travel, as more people buy cell phones, as more people consume like we do in the United States, there's a great opportunity in that country for not just in the airline business, but a lot of different industries.
Do you face the same challenges to growth that other airlines face elsewhere in the world?
Well, yeah, you know, there are infrastructure issues in Brazil. You know, one of them is just using the infrastructure they have, you know, smarter and understanding, you know, the throughput that you can put through an airport and through the skies. But there needs to be some infrastructure built, and so we're working closely with the government and trying to, you know, show them some things that they could do on a short term, on a medium term, and a long term basis. You know, Brazil's got the World Cup coming, it's got the Olympics coming, it has, you know, just kind of an amazing amount of natural resources, tremendous future, but they have to keep up with the infrastructure for the growth that's going to definitely occur over the next, you know, 10 to 20 years.
David, in your opinion, what are the best managed airlines in the world? If you had to invest in anyone but your own, which one would it be?
Well, you know, Southwest has had a great track record over the years. You know, JetBlue has a great product. I'm very proud of what I created there. And, you know, but it's hard, and there's so many external factors that enter into the equation. You know, fuel prices, you know, the prices of oil really affect the profitability. You know, air traffic congestion, all of those things that don't allow you to give the best customer service. But, you know, it's a challenging business, and, you know, I don't focus that much on other airlines. I just try and focus on my own. And I know we've got a great product. People love flying us, and, you know, we're really growing. We flew 2 million people in the first year. No airline in the history of aviation has ever flown 2 million people in 1 year.
I got to ask you one quick question before we go. When are you going public?
You know, you go public for two. I enjoy being private. I love it. But you go public because you need money or your investors want to liquefy. Our investors are patient, and we don't need the money, so we're good.
Right. David Neeleman, the CEO of Azul Airlines. He's also the founder. He also founded JetBlue.